46 pounds heavier. You did what you had to do, but it took a while to get there. Talk to me about how this landscape in heavyweight makes you feel knowing what's out there.
Well, I mean, bottom line, man, I'm a star, number one. I got the resume, I got the credentials, I have the experience. I don't know why these guys, these premier heavyweights, they're supposed to be putting it all on the line against somebody with my credibility. They want to, turn the nose up.
He just knocked out Johnathan Banks, Wladimir Klitschko trainer.
Don't nobody have the experience I got to go up against Wladimir. He's fighting these tomato cans, man. He's not facing nobody. But guess what? I got 12 rounds to do my work. And all I need is an inch, baby. And it's good night, Irene, because I'm punching now. I'm a knockout artist, and that's the type of action you're going to see. You might boo and boo, but when I drop that hammer, it's good night, Irene, baby. And that's what we bring to the heavyweight division. Excitement.
Johnathan Banks really was no opposition early on. Even in his corner, there was frustration. But looking forward, Teddy Atlas was mentioning a guy who has not stepped into the ring with anybody with credibility and who is touted as one of the up-and-comers, Deontay Wilder. Would you like to step in the ring against Deontay?
Hey, listen, I want to become the oldest fighter to ever win the heavyweight championship. So anybody got that heavyweight title, they got a mark on their chest. They're marked man. That's
his name.
That's my mission, and that's my destiny. I will become the heavyweight champion.
That's because y'all cool.
At 46 years old, you have enough left?
Of course, you just saw that. I didn't get time to listen to my coach. I mean, Johnathan Banks is a crafty guy. It takes time sometimes. I'm not going to go out here and risk getting caught with a big guy punching at me. I mean, I felt his power. You got to be smart. Boxing ain't about how big your muscles are. It's about thinking. It's chess, not checkers. So I'm going to get the job done with inside the distance, but I tell you what, if they feel my power, they're going to shake. And when they shake, I'm closing the show. I'm a closer. You can do my history. You can check my resume. I'm a closer, baby.
22 knockouts as a pro, and he wants to be the heavyweight champion at age 46 plus. We'll see if he can do it. He's Anton.
It's probably because it's late that I'm so frustrated, because this card was just wacky. It was bizarre. The fight before the Austin Trout versus Louis Grajeda fight, you had a fight against, I forgot the guy's name, but he fought a guy by the name of Cave. Long story short, it was the biggest robbery of the year by far, to the point where Teddy Atlas just snapped out himself. I'm going to do an individual video on what Teddy Atlas was talking about and play the audio for you and talk about that fight and the robbery on its own. But right now, we're going to talk about Antonio Tarver, former light heavyweight champion, winning at 226 pounds, defeating Johnathan Banks, the trainer of the IBO, IBF, WBO, WBA Super World heavyweight champion of the world, Wladimir Dr. Steelhammer Klitschko. He was knocked out by Antonio Tarver. First he went down. Okay, well, first he got hit, straight left. He did the little leg thing. Leg gave out, leaned on the ropes a little bit, looked around like he didn't know where he was. And then guess what? The heart was going after. He's got to give it up. Man, I know that when I cover boxing, especially when I'm like sleep deprived and when I'm, he's got to give it up. He's got to give it up. And more importantly, we got to get rid of these fights that don't mean anything, and we got to stop this robbery in the sport of boxing. Who is Antonio Tarver right now to want to fight Wladimir Klitschko? He's fought once in 2009, once in 2010, once in 2011, once in 2012, once in 2013. And now it's December, once in 2014. So once a year. And I have to agree with Teddy Atlas, because Teddy Atlas was basically lobbying for Deontay Wilder versus Antonio Tarver, but Deontay Wilder is taking on Bermane Stiverne, and Deontay Wilder is favored to defeat Bermane Stiverne, even though I don't feel necessarily that way. I think it's more of a 50-50 fight, but Antonio Tarver would be 2 times better than the competition Deontay Wilder has ever fought. And you have to also realize that this card was an Al Haymon card, and Antonio Tarver is an Al Haymon fighter, one of the original Al Haymon fighters. So take that into account. You have to say, well, Deontay Wilder, and we know those guys don't really fight each other. And then listening to the post-fight interview, he'll say other names, but then, when it comes to Deontay Wilder, it's like, well, whoever has the bill. You know, that's the type of stuff we see. But as far as the heavyweight division is concerned, the heavyweight division is pretty good. And I'm glad that Antonio Tarver got that win, because now, despite what happens with Wladimir Klitschko and Brian Jennings, you got Antonio Tarver in the mix, you got Tyson Fury, David Price, you got Anthony Joshua coming up, you got Derek Chisora, you got Malik Scott, you know, you got of course Deontay Wilder, but Mace Tavern. So Andy Ruiz, the heavyweight division, you know, Joseph Parker, and people say, why didn't you say that person? Why didn't you say that person? You know, you always, but the heavyweight division is exciting. Wladimir Klitschko's 2015 is already sewn up. Brian Jennings, let's see if that goes through. Brian Jennings, he's got a mandatory with Tyson Fury. He wants to win over Mace Tavern and Wladimir Klitschko, and most likely he will get it, unless it's Deontay Wilder, because I don't think that Al Heyman would allow Deontay Wilder to win a title and then go into a dangerous fight like Wladimir Klitschko right away. I just don't see it. That's just my personal opinion. You know, I'm T-Street Controversy. This is T-Street Controversy Live. I'm going to go get some sleep. 23 hours straight now. And you know why? It's because boxing events like this, especially with a name like Antonio Tarver, to an extent, he is right. He is a star. And as a boxing fan, and with what I do, no matter how tired I am, I have to watch the fight. I'm sure there's other boxing media people that they're watching the fight while they're in the bed. I'm talking about, listen, I was laboring. I'm sitting there just trying to watch. So what I do was I make this tea. I put all those little sugar packets in there, and I'm just sitting there like, oh my God. Not all fights are good. Not everything. I mean, don't get me wrong. The knockout woke me up, but you know, like sitting through a card like that sometimes, and it was a 3-hour card, is laboring. It takes a toll on you. I'm T-Street Controversy. This is T-Street Controversy Live. This week, and I'll be covering Khan versus Alexander, Thurman versus Bundu, Charlo versus Bataille, Charlo versus Lozano, Maris versus Ramirez, Ortiz versus Perez, Herrera versus Benavidez, Bradley versus Chavez, Korobov versus Lee, Erislandy Lara versus Ishe Smith. And if I can watch the Yoshihiro Kamagai fight and the Babette Shamanov fight, I will, because those are the two fights that are not going to be televised on Showtime Extreme. Because you know why? Because I'm T-Street Controversy, and I'm T-Street Controversy Live, and I cover every single major fight live. Please subscribe.